Hey boys and girls, today we are making jalapeno poppers. We got a lot of jalapenos with today's CSA share, and combined with the tomatoes and the onions, I think a lot of people were thinking salsa, and that's perfectly fine. I actually wasn't thinking salsa. I was thinking jalapeno poppers and veggie burgers. What I've got here are all of my jalapenos. And I've sliced the top 1/3 off of them and I've seeded them, and then I'm going to fill them with this delicious cheese mixture, and instead of breading them and frying the poppers, I'm going to roast them out on the grill. You can do it in the oven too. I don't feel like turning my oven on tonight. So I'm going to show you how I prepare these poppers, and this is actually a recipe that I've hacked from Rachel Ray, so I can't take credit for the genius behind this, but oh well. So when I get ready to prep my poppers, I always try to find a flat side, and sometimes that's hard to do, but usually when you throw a jalapeno down somewhere, it finds a way and it settles into an area that's not going to roll around a lot. So that seems to be a pretty stable spot right there. So that's going to be the base of your jalapeno, and now you're just going to turn it and you're going to cut this part off of the jalapeno. So you're going to slice it through here. So I'm going to rotate it a 1/4 turn, and then I'm going to slice a thin section off so that you're left with this boat-shaped piece of jalapeno. And then you've got this little piece left, which to me looks like a little planarian, and if you're a biology nerd like me and you remember planarians, okay, maybe it doesn't, but it conjures up the image of a planarian to me, whatever. So now I have a grapefruit spoon that has the little serrated edges, and so I just take it and I scrape all of the seeds and the rib out of the popper. Sometimes I like to leave a little bit of the seed in there and a little bit of the ribbing just to give it a little bit of extra punch. And if you like a little spiciness to your poppers, then you might want to do that. I definitely like mine a little spicy. So, but I'm going to pull most of these seeds and ribs out. If you happen to be one of these people that's really sensitive to the oils that are associated with hot peppers, you might want to do this wearing gloves. I'm not overly sensitive, although usually when I'm done with this, if I don't wash my hands really well, maybe 10 or 15 minutes later, I start noticing that little burning, tingling sensation in the tips of my fingers. But for the most part, I'm not too bothered by it, as long as I wash my hands well afterwards. So that's my completed popper. It doesn't roll around a lot, and it's got a nice big opening that we can stuff it full of cheese. It's going to be great. So I'm just going to put it on my tray here with the rest of my poppers. And let's make the cheese mixture. Wash the hands with soap. So to make the cheese filling, there's a couple of other prep things I'm going to do first. One is take your little planarian jalapeno friend. Okay, fine, it's not a planarian. Some of these top slices that you took off, I'm going to mince them up really finely, and I'm going to add them to the mixture. The rest of them I freeze, and you can dice them first if you want, but I'm just going to freeze them whole. You can take them out of the freezer later, let them thaw, and mince them up, and they'll be fine. And then I often will add them to soups or to cornbread muffins. They're really good there. I actually diced up some of these and put them in the veggie burgers tonight. So there's lots of uses for these little leftover jalapeno pieces. So we're just going to dice these up nice and fine, and the way I do it is I just cut them in little fine strips like so. Gather them all together, and then come back and dice them really finely. You get these really cute little jalapeno pieces. And then we're going to put them in our bowl that we're going to add all of our cheese to. It's going to be a lot of jalapeno. These are some nice big ones too with our share this week. But that's okay. Those make good poppers though, because they hold lots of cheese. Next order of business, onion. I'm just going to take a little chunk off, put that over there, and I'm going to use my grater, and I'm actually going to use the really fine side. Just grate this onion. And if you don't want to shred it, you can also dice it. That's perfectly fine too. In the bowl we go. Now we're ready to add the cheese. So we have our jalapenos and our onion in here. So I've got 4 kinds of cheese. I have about 6 ounces of cream cheese that is nice and soft, so it'll be easy to mix. And I've got, maybe 1/3 to 1/2 cup roasted garlic Monterey Jack from Lifeline. It's a really, really strong garlic flavor. So that way I don't have to add any garlic. So let's kind of mix this together. This is nice and mixed up. So next I have some cheese curds that we got today with the Fun Share. They are a hot pepper cheese curd. And so I just took some and crumbled them into smaller pieces, and I'm gonna throw these in there. So, you know, we need a little more spice with this. I'm not kidding, I like my spicy. And I also have, this is the best stuff to add to jalapeno poppers, and this I definitely poached from Rachel Ray. It is feta cheese. So we're adding the feta. This is probably 1/2 cup of feta, and I've just crumbled it into small pieces. That one's actually a big piece, but that's okay. When you stir it in, it'll break some of those pieces down a little more. You can use whatever cheese you like. If you like straight up cheddar, I would definitely recommend the feta. And then of course the cream cheese is just kind of the base. But you could use other cheeses if you want. Totally up to you. It's fine, I promise. Okay, that's nice and mixed. We're gonna add just a little bit of some ground pepper. Not a lot, just a little. A little bit of salt. You don't need much because the feta is quite salty. And then I'm gonna add a heaping 1/2 teaspoon of ground cumin and chives from my garden that I dried a couple weekends ago. I'm gonna do a full tablespoon because I like my chives too. Mix it well, and we're ready to load our poppers. All right, here comes the fun part. So we're gonna take just a little bit of our cheese. Start with about a tablespoon, depending on how big your popper is. And you're just gonna fill the popper with cheese, kind of mush it down in there. And if they get a little full, that's okay, because if they cook and then spill out, you'll get that nice cooked cheese on your baking sheet, and I love that stuff. That's part of my favorite part about cooking them this way. And if you just have too much of this mixture and you don't want to stuff your jalapenos so full, that's okay. You can save this and you can use it to fill cornbread muffins, which I did last year. It was really good. I might have to do that again this year. Although I am not gonna have leftover cheese mixture today, I can guarantee that. More back on this first one because it needs more cheese. And you need more cheese. And you don't need more cheese, but you do. All right, I think our poppers are about as loaded as they can get. Those are overflowing with cheese stuffing. So we're gonna go put them on the grill and take a look at the veggie burgers, probably flip them over, and then we'll check on them. I'm gonna leave them 10 or 15 minutes and we'll check on them and see how they're doing. Okay, we are looking, oh, those veggie burgers are looking really good. My poppers on this top grill. I'm actually going to swap out the poppers and the burgers, and a little bit of burger to taste. Those are gonna be good. Okay, we are back. We're gonna check on, oh yeah, look at that. So these burgers are done. Pull this off. These have been on here for maybe 5 or 6 minutes. I'm gonna give them another maybe 5 or 6 minutes, and then I'll check on them again, but they're looking good. So leave the heat on low and we'll return. And my battery died while I was outside, so I'm doing voiceover. If you're going to do these poppers in the oven, bake them for about 20 to 25 minutes in a 350 degree oven. And I'm going to taste one of these, and I just have to say they're some of the best poppers I've ever eaten. I love these things. The feta cheese makes it, the cumin makes it. They're really good. So do yourself a favor and make these poppers. Trust me on this one. And you'll thank me next week. Okay, speaking of next week, I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye. All right, I think we're ready to rock and roll, hey, Belle. I'm running low on battery. Wash my hands.